What's up guys, Dalton with Primal Tone Audio. Today we're going to check out the unprocessed version of Odeholm Drums and mess around with a little mix on them. So first things first, you gotta check out the processed version. You can't open up this kit without at least clicking around on it a little bit and having some fun. Buster did a great job. It's super cool. It sounds great. People are gonna get a lot of inspiration from this, and I'm excited to see what people do. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's just right out of the box. So like you could load this up and not even run a multi out into your DAW. Just load up one instrument channel and go at it. Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, anyways, that's that. So let's take a look at the unprocessed version. Yeah, some really great raw drum tones there. Yeah, let's get right into it. So I ran multi-out from Contact into Pro Tools, and then I have everything bust. So I just figured to make a cool little video. I ended up coming up with this drum mix and figured it'd be fun to share and, you know, see what people's thoughts are, see what people would do differently, and yeah, just kind of provide some examples for a little bit more of a universal use of this kit. So I'm going to start with the kick drum here. First thing I got going is a little EQ, a boost at 56, cutting out some 158 and 225, some boxiness around 720, and then some slap and click right around 4.5 and 8K. Some just kind of, you know, classic fundamental moves there. Like I said, these raw drum tones are super great. So Heatwave, a great one knob saturation plugin from Slate Digital. It's got a built-in clipper on it, so I just got the drive around 8 and got the clipper activated. My dog is chewing on my pillow right now. And then I got a CLA 76 going here, a little bit of a faster attack and fast release. I wanted to smack the transient a little bit with this. Yeah, so overall with the saturation and then the compression, you know, gives it some control, but it's still nice and juicy. Let's add the snare in. A little bit of EQ here as well. I got a lot of 8K and then some 3.8 it looks like, just to get a little bit more attack out of it. A little bit of kind of snappiness, and then cutting out some 590 and 800 and also some 320. I don't add any body to my snare in the EQ stage, and you'll see why here in a second. Now I got some clipper action going. JSD Clip Greats plugin. I just kind of boost it until I get a good volume boost, and I can kind of hear a little bit of that transient clipping happen. It's not super apparent. You want to more or less not really hear it, but I do kind of like pushing it into the area where it gives it kind of that a little bit of aggression and breaks up like just slightly. I don't know if I pushed it that hard here, but yeah, not so much. So it's just kind of doing its job and keeping the integrity of the initial sound. And then the reason I don't boost the body in the EQ is because I like using Barrier, which is another saturation plugin, another one knobber, and I push it up to 160 or 200, and that'll kind of focus around the body area of the snare and give that part to me. IDX is next, so some multi-band compression, a little bit of a slower speed, and got the quick match going as well. Quick match, not so much. I think they got a little louder with this, but that's not a huge deal. And then another CLA 76, some room for the transient here, and then a pretty quick release, hitting at about -5 to -7. And then I'll go ahead and turn on the reverb that I got going for this as well. I'm using Revibe 2. I think the preset I worked off of was from Room's Tight Drum Room. And then from there, I saved my own preset and I adjusted the time a little bit. I think the size as well. Pulled down this filter on the high end to a little bit lower than 4K, or it's at 3K, I guess. And then I think I pulled down the dry wet knob a little bit more towards the dry side. And then I'm using JST Demon Fuzz distortion plugin to give like a nice, cool, edgy room sound to the snare. And then here's what that sounds like. So yeah, pretty fun there. Now let's actually, before we go to the toms, let's go to the overhead mics so we can hear some cymbal action. I'll start it from the top here. So yeah, filtering pretty heavy here, so we're just getting the cymbal sound, pushing in a little bit more on 750, cutting out 2K, 4K, and then giving some nice, bright, shiny stuff going on at 12K and above with a shelf. Supercharger, really cool, easy plugin. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of one knob plugins. I'm a minimalist, but not to the point where I'll just download them and use them. I only use them if they're good. So Supercharger is one of those plugins. I believe it's just a free native access plugin that you can get. Heatwave is also maybe still free. I got it when it was free. And Barrier is also free. So there are some really good free plugins out there, and you'll see by the end of this mix here that the drums will still really come together. If you really do your research and find some good free stuff like Barrier and Heatwave, from reliable companies, and Supercharger, you can really use them to your advantage. You don't have to pay the big bucks for all the cool flashy stuff to get a good mix. Here is the other overhead far mic, kind of the same situation, pushing in on 750, just cutting out 4K, and then some 12K and above for more brightness. So there's some fills there. Let's go ahead and put all the tom stuff on, and you can kind of see what we got going. Even with using virtual drum kits, I find it's nice to use a gate just to kind of close the envelope a little bit on some of those toms that ring out too much. I don't like my toms to hang around forever. I know some people might be different in that aspect. But yeah, that's what I like to do. So here's what the toms sound like. So just boosting some low end. Each one's kind of very similar. You'll see that the low end just kind of shifts. There's some slight differences, but here boosting the low end, cutting out some of that muddiness a little bit and some boxiness, and then boosting some 4.5 here to get a little bit more attack in the high end going. And then I'm actually cutting 8K because these have a lot of 8K in them. There's a lot of brightness in these toms. So I found that once you then start getting to the drum bus stage with these toms, you might not need that much brightness going on. And then I'm using a little bit of multi-band compression on all these toms as well too, wherever they're happening in the low end. I'm not going to go over each tom individually. As you can see, it's kind of the same thing, boosting wherever that low end part of the tom is as you get to the lower ones, and then cutting out some mud and boxiness. I didn't do 4.5 on the tom 3 and tom 4 or tom 2. I only did it on the first tom, so that was probably a mistake, but oh well, still sounds good. A little bit of multi-band compression just to kind of control that low end that can kind of flare a little bit at the end. The gate also helps with that, but then this extra step helps get a little bit more control, and then just the stock compressor from Purpose. And now the magic, the room mic. I really like to blow up my room mics. I got it filtered up to about 163, and then I'm pushing down on 215 and 145 a little bit. I think that's mostly because I just had my high pass a little bit lower. I know some people like to kind of boost the low end in their rooms a little bit. I found that I just wanted to filter it up a little bit more, not get as much kick action in there. Cut out some boxiness, some stuff around 2K and some stuff around 4K, and then filtered back on the high end to cut out some harshness with 8K and above. Again, some demon fuzz. The room crush setting, I usually adjust a few things on here. I think I usually pull the sustain back, the mids, and add a little bit of character, and then pull the mix back. I think I activate Wicker as well. Go check out JST plugins. They got a lot of in-depth stuff on their plugins on YouTube and how to use them. And then Supercharger again. I don't think I touched on Supercharger with the overheads, but I'm running those there as well. Oh no, I definitely did. I said that. So now, let's work our way into, there's the spot mic as well. It's running pretty low. It's just for those cymbals that are going into the spot mic to be a little bit more present, a little bit more like, oh, that's right there. Not like from just the overheads or just the room mic to where they seem kind of far away. Cutting out some boxiness there right at 730, some 4K, and then adding some brightness at the high shelf at 12K. Cool. So that's the full mix here. So let's listen to this a little bit. Yeah, so that's that. On the drum bus, I got GST Maximizer going to darken it up a little bit, actually, because I ended up with a very bright overall mix on everything individually, tightening up some low ends from 99 and down, and then using the inflate option here for the sauce knob, just adding a little bit of that in, and pushing the maximize knob into a 4-band limiter and pulling down that threshold to just get everything nice and evened out. So I'm getting a little bit of gain reduction there, and then just pulled back the mix slightly. I also have auto trim activated, so it's not increasing so much in volume. On the spectrum part of JST Maximizer, I'm cutting a little bit of the lows and pushing around the mids and the high mids here as well, and then cutting back again on the high end. Like I said, it's a little bright overall with this mix. And then for the drum bus, just cutting out some nastiness that's going on. 4 to 500 is always an issue in drum mixes, so it's always good to pay attention to that area as you're going through and mixing, but also the final stage, you can hit it a little bit more if you need to. All this stuff around 2K and then a little bit up towards 4K too is just like kind of whistly and too metallic, so I like to clean up that area as well. And then I have IDX running, the multi-band compressor. A little bit of a slower speed. And then Supercharger. It's punch and dirt activated, and then pulling back the output to just kind of gain match a little. and not 100% wet here. I'm kind of running that in parallel a little bit. So on the top. Yeah, I think overall this will just provide me with a nice template version of this for demos, or if I wanted to use it kind of in a final release to get some cool sounding drums. So thanks for checking out the video, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.